Hey guys, welcome back to my video. Today I will be talking about the Odyssey. The Odyssey is one of the greatest movies that I've ever seen. This year, probably like top 10, probably even top 5 of the year so far, in my opinion. There's still like about like 6 months left of the year, so we'll see what other movies look like. For example, we have Spider-Man coming, Dune 3, Doomsday, but regardless, I would think that Odyssey will definitely secure the top 10 in my opinion. But yeah, I just wanna say that this movie was really, really good. Directed by Christopher Nolan. Of course, he's one of the greatest directors that we've seen during the modern era. So, his take on Homer's Odyssey has been really enjoyable to watch. Now, I'm sure you guys heard of the Odyssey before, whether that is in school or whatnot, some type of media, but the Odyssey is definitely a one of the foundationals of Western literatures of all time. The Odyssey is about like 3,000 years old, and in the beginning, it was more of a performance type story, but later it was adapted by Homer, who later turned into a book called the Odyssey. So, what exactly is the Odyssey even about? Well, to put it a brief summary, it is about a man named Odysseus who is just simply trying to go home after the Trojan War, but it takes him 10 years to get home. That is insane. Now, why does it take him 10 years to get home? Well, realistically, on a map, his trip to Ithaca would take him like a few weeks, but it later turned into 10 years. But why was it 10 years? Well, to put it, briefly, they were basically cursed by Poseidon, who basically, sent him off course, and because of that, he encountered these uh mythical monsters along the way, which of course gets his whole crew killed, leaving him the only survivor. So that is basically what the Odyssey is about. But Christopher Nolan makes it into a film, and the film isn't exactly one-to-one accurate with the book, but relatively, it is the same thing, the same story. Just Odysseus trying to get home. His crew and him is later cursed with Poseidon, which kind of drives him off course, and now he has to fight off these monsters. And then, yeah, and then the trauma he endures from it. It's not really about him coming home. It's um who he is after he gets home. It's just like trauma he goes through, like watching all this men get killed brutally along the way, and how he kind of lost himself too. It's just such a tragic story for Odysseus. Also, I should mention that he also has a wife home named Penelope and a son Telemachus. I think yeah, Telemachus, and who was played by Tom Holland, and Penelope is played by Anne Hathaway, and Odysseus is played by Matt Damon. So while Odysseus is in his doing this little quest to get home, Penelope is at home with Telemachus, but there are these like bad suitors who are just coming to his home and just chill, like it's their home, right? They're just getting too comfortable. So but thing is, like, they can't get kicked out because one of them wants to marry Penelope. One of them wants to get with Odysseus' wife. So Obviously Penelope doesn't want to marry either one of them or any of them, I mean, but if it gets them to leave their house, then of course Penelope's gonna go through with it. Like she's gonna fold eventually. There's such brilliant writing, and Robert Pattinson, who plays Antinous, plays such a great villain in this movie. Robert Pattinson always gives it his all. So, seeing him in this film, playing this evil character is great. I love Robert Pattinson. I love the movies he's in. So yeah, it's good to see that going for him. Also, I want to mention how they talk in this movie. So, in Homer's Odyssey, they speak kind of like in poems, kind of like the way they speak isn't how we speak today. But in Homer's Odyssey, they speak in kind of like in poem. I'm not sure how to describe it, but you know, if you've read the book, you kind of know. But and here in the movie, they speak in modern English, right? They don't talk like in accents, riddles, or poems, really. They just speak directly, more upfront, right? They speak like how we do to this day. And at first, I was kind of skeptical about that because like, it's not, it doesn't feel like it's taking place in ancient Greek, but later I've learned to come to not be bothered by it because what I figured is that this is more of a modern telling of the Odyssey. It's more a modernized film. The way they kind of explain to us what this film is about, the themes, the message, the core, like overall story of the Odyssey. It's more of a modern retelling. And we kind of see this with the intro of the movie where we see the bard played by rapper Travis Scott, who recites the beginning of the Odyssey in Homer's Odyssey. He kind of recites the beginning where he talk about like the events after the Trojan War. He's saying like a man, a wall, uh, burn it all, screaming to the ground, you know, banging a stick to the ground. He just kind of retelling the events of the Trojan War in modern English because well, as we know, Travis Scott is a modern rapper, so it's kind of like a little symbolism there, the way how he's the one telling us the reciting the Homer's um Odyssey. So that I think that's pretty cool, you know. So I've later learned to like be like, oh yeah, I don't really mind the way they talk here because it's just a modern telling of the Odyssey, you know. On the topic of the Trojan War, I really love how they kind of dove in deeper into the Trojan War story. So yeah, of course we've all know by now of how the Trojan war goes, right? It's one of the most like iconic stories in all of literature, but basically they gather a bunch of men, hide in a horse, a Trojan horse, and pretend it's a gift for Athena. They bring the horse inside of the city of Troy, and while the guards are sleeping, have the guards down, they later break out the horse and kill everyone from the inside, and finally, you know, eventually take over Troy, right? That's kind of how the Battle of Troy is uh, told, right? That's kind of how we know how the story goes. But in um, in this movie, the retelling of the Battle of Troy is they kind of like explore like the trauma behind Odysseus because Odysseus, while you know he came up with the idea of the Trojan horse and how he's known as the hero of the Trojan War. He's in the battle, he's more traumatized by it because like we see how there are innocent people being killed. It's not just like soldiers, but they're also killing innocent people, like innocent people who have nothing to do with this. So they're just like slaughtering them, and this kind of traumatizes Odysseus. He doesn't like um what's going on. He's not taking enjoyment in any of this. And that's further explored in like there was this common theme going around called Zeus's law. Zeus's law is treat other how you want to be treated, but here it's more specifically like treat any stranger how you would, with respect, because you never know that there could be a god among them. So basically, right, don't go in anybody's house and just take whatever you want, take anything, you know, don't be disrespectful basically. And here in the Trojan war scene, we see them just completely disregard that. Like, Odysseus literally pulled up to Troy and just like took whatever he wanted and did whatever he wanted to these people in Troy. So it took a toll on him, and I like how they kind of uh dove in deeper into the trauma of how the Trojan War kind of affected him, right? So that's just the beginning of Odysseus, like the way he changed because he of course in war people change, they come back traumatized, and there's this really we see how that really deeply affected Odysseus, right? On Odysseus' journey home, he encounters many mythological creatures, but I want to briefly talk about each one because I just really, really love it. So first, when they went to the Cyclops cave, that was probably like the most like tense scene of the whole movie. In my opinion, that Cyclops cave is probably the scariest uh scene in the whole movie. In fact, I was like like so tense the whole time because like it is super scary. Um, um, Christopher Nolan really tapped in his inner horror arc because the way that scene was played out, it was super good. I really loved the Cyclops scene. Cyclops scene because it was so good. The score that was playing throughout the scene also was really good. Like I can still hear it right now. Like the Cyclops score was good, and yeah, it was super scary. The also like it was like there's a part in the Cyclops scene, cave scene where he screams super loud, and I was just like, oh my God, it was just super loud. But anyways, uh of course, Odysseus um lost some men there because the Cyclops just literally just grabbed his men and started eating them. And they can't kill the Cyclops because he blocks the cave entrance with the boulder. And if they kill the Cyclops, they're gonna be trapped in there. So you have to wait to escape. And basically, he Odysseus stabs his no, not him, but his men stab his eye, which they're able to use that to break free. But in this was the probably the worst thing he could have done because it was that's Cyclops scene or that made okay, wait. Okay, I should mention. So the Cyclops is the son of Poseidon, and Poseidon is the god of the sea. And of since Odysseus and his men stabbed the Cyclops' eye, he told Poseidon to curse Odysseus and his men. So that's why whenever they went back on their boat and sailed away, Poseidon pushed them to off course, which that's why they ran off track because of Poseidon and how and because he um the Cyclops cursed Odysseus and his man, trying to figure out what comes next. But yeah, so that's what happens, right? And then later they go on to a different island. They then encountered the Lacedaemonians. In Homer's Odyssey, they're depicted as giants. But here, they are technically giants, but they're more armored. So they have like full plated armor with swords. And at first, I was curious on why they didn't go like the typical like giant look. Uh, basically, no armor on. You know how giants look, but here they have full armor. So I think the reason why is because it would have probably been much harder to do that appearance of the Lacedaemonians in the current film version, but it's what it is. I do like this one. They look cooler in my opinion, so that's good. But basically they get to this island, and of course they start slaughtering Odysseus' men on the spot. So they go back, but it was too late. They basically sink like two of the ships, leaving only one left. So they suffered heavy losses on that isle. And then they go to this next island where the Circe is at. And Circe is a witch who turns people into animals. Uh, Odysseus stays back on the ship because there's like a mutiny going on because of his decisions that got his men killed along the two islands. So he stays back, and then they go to this little like house up on a cliff where the witch Circe is at, which was performed really great by the actress. Anyways, she yeah turns like in the Homer's book. Here in the film they turn the men into pigs. This movie, well, I mean, this scene in particular is probably the most creepy and eerie out of the whole film. The Cyclops lean them more on horror and scary and tense. This is more creepy and eerie, especially the part where he was molding them into pigs. That was so disgusting. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about, but the whole scene was so creepy. And yeah, it was really good actually. It's probably like one of the more tense part of the movie, in my opinion, next to the Cyclops scene. But yeah, that was really great scene. And then next they go uh the sirens. No, first they go to Hades. And then we see like this the fallen soldiers of Troy talking to Odysseus. Um, and then Sinon, played by Elliot Page. Um, Odysseus' movie basically lied a lot. He lied to Sinon, how um, the role he played got Sinon killed because he needed uh Sinon to make sure that they get the Trojan horse in Troy, but he basically used Sinon to make that plan work by lying to him, which is so messed up on Odysseus' part. But anyways, after Hades, they go to the sirens. And I wish they kind of did more with this because I really love the sirens and any depiction of fiction, and we didn't see much of them here, but we did see them briefly. Also, we didn't really see or hear a siren song, which I was hoping because, like I said, I love siren fiction, but it's fine. Also, Odysseus wanted to get tied up and listen to the siren song. Why? I don't really know, to be honest. They don't really give a clear answer. Maybe it's just for ego. Maybe that's why. But Odysseus' man covers their ears with um wax, and Odysseus gets tied up, and he is suffering a lot. He's screaming in pain, and one of his men untie him, and he asks, "Oh, what did you hear?" He said that the song said that what I want most I can't have, and what I have I have already lost. It's just such a great performance by Matt Damon, and the whole scene was really good too. Then they go to the whirlpool, um, but they were able to divert the whirlpool and head to this like path, or like this creature, this monster, basically snatches up his men, and Odysseus knew that some of his men were gonna die because it was told by Hades, right? He sacrificed his men, and he knew that they were gonna die. So, but he thought he. It's not that he didn't care. It's just that he needed that to happen so they could survive, basically. Because if they went to the whirlpool, they would have all died, right? But anyways, yeah, that's basically what happens. Eventually, like um they go to this island where it's the son of Apollo, I think, or the sun god. um I forgot his name, but basically they go to the island. They said that don't eat any of this cattle. If you do, we're gonna curse you. His men, Odysseus' men eats the cattle behind his back while he was sleeping. And Odysseus like, yeah, you just, doomed us all, right? He just basically said that, yeah, we're cooked now, so then they go off to sea, and then finally, their ship eventually gets destroyed by the storm, and the remaining crew of Odysseus basically just dies, and Odysseus watches up to shore, where he's found by Calypso, who is just basically just making him forget and making him at peace. And this island is kind of like not really keeping him hostage, but just like making sure he forgets his journey home. Like she wants him to stay here in this island. Um, of course, once Odysseus remembers what happens, he says that no, I want to go back home, right? And then, yeah, that's basically his whole journey. And then he was stuck on the island for 7 years, and then he gets back on the sea, and then he finally ends up home, and he sees that these suitors are um just taking up his space, right? And that's when we go back to Zeus's law, right? Treat others how you want to be treated, because you never know when there's a god amongst you, right? So they just basically just took over his home, and yeah, just made it their home. They're just completely disregarding Zeus's law. So yeah, and then that's basically the whole story of it. I won't say too much in the ending, because I think you guys should watch it. It's really good. If you read the Homers, then you kind of know how it ends. But it's just such an amazing film. The story behind it. This movie is 3 hours long, and I know that it can turn some people off. Me personally, I felt this movie go by super quick. Like, there's also like a ton of action. Well, yeah, I guess a ton of action, right? There's a lot of stuff that happens. My favorite part of the film was like when they were going on this journey, when they were encountering these monsters. That was my favorite part, in my opinion. I also love the Trojan War scene where we saw that, how they kind of dove deeper in the Trojan War sequence. And then yeah, everything else was pretty good too. Penelope, as Anne Hathaway gave a great performance. Telemachus, played by Tom Holland, also a great performance too. Robert Pattinson as Antinous, really good. Matt Damon as Odysseus, great. I love him as Odysseus, and yeah, just a bunch of other really great performances too. It's just really good all around film. I do recommend anyone here to watch. Also, the box office numbers kind of speak for itself too. It's the biggest live action opening weekend of 2026 so far. Domestically it made around 124 million, and internationally it made like 139.6 million in the box office. And right now it is sitting at like over 200 million. Um, during its debut, like its first week, it made like over like $280 million, which is really good numbers. Um, but it's really good. I love the Odyssey, like I said. The book was amazing. I've read the book back when I was in high school, so I know I'm knowing about the Odyssey. And also, if you want to know like what the Odyssey is about, if you've seen the SpongeBob movie, the first one, where SpongeBob and Patrick go to Shell City, that's basically the Odyssey. Uh, so I think that's funny how you can kind of compare the two, and then you kind of see like there's so many similarities, right? Um, SpongeBob and Patrick want to go to Shell City. They do something crazy. They want to come back home, but they encounter these monsters. But while they're away, the Krusty Krab is being taken over by Plankton and his minions, right? That's if you've seen the SpongeBob movie and if you've seen the Odyssey, they're very very similar. So if you've seen the SpongeBob movie, then it's basically the Odyssey, right? That's basically it. But it's really great. It's a really great film. I really recommend watching it. Overall, it's probably like a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Top 10 of the year. Awesome movie. Um, yeah, please go see it. Anyway, that's about it, guys. Thank you. Bye.